909 Big 550 KTRS. I was tipped off to this story, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. It's a pretty interesting story. And normally we don't get bills on that are not necessarily ready to become law, but this one's kind of interesting and a little twist on all of things. We'd like to welcome in Missouri House of Representatives for the 64th District in St. Peters, Republican Robert Corneo. Mr. Corneo, welcome to Big 550 KTRS here in St. Louis.
Yeah, thank you, McGraw. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, so this is it's kind of convoluted, and a lot of people, it's a sort of obscure law that a lot of people don't understand. So explain the way you can sell alcohol in Missouri today.
Yeah, so under current law, once retailers have a potential customer inside their store, it's pretty much anything goes. You can advertise, below cost. You can do coupons, rebates, discount, loyalty programs. You can even advertise, a bottle of Jack Daniels for a penny if that's really what you want to, buy. Or maybe when you go into stores, you see buy 6, get 1 free,
right?
Things like that. Under current law, however, they cannot publicly advertise any of those programs, such as coupons, loyalty programs, discounts, or advertise below cost. So you can see a cost on there, but never will you be able to see, like I said, for example, a Jack Daniels for a penny.
Right. So you're allowed to advertise your alcohol. You're just not allowed to advertise it for less than what you purchased it for.
Correct. Even though that may be what you're doing inside the store, you may be selling it below cost inside the store. You're not able to publicly advertise that.
Right.
And so that's why sometimes you'll see also, in a college town, you'll hear, we can't tell you what the price is, but we guarantee you'll never find the bottom of this cup.
So somebody's asking, why would somebody want to, if I'm buying a bottle of booze for $10 from the wholesaler, why would I sell it to you for $9? I'm losing money on that deal.
Absolutely. Well, there's things in the industry called, especially maybe in like the convenience store where they're called loss leaders, where you take a loss on this product, but once you get the consumer in and buying stuff, then you're able to make up your profit on selling that same customer other products inside your store.
Right. So then you sort of lose the 50 cents on the bottle of soda, but you gain it up on the bread and the meat and the hamburger meat or whatever.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's the current law now. You want to change that law?
Correct. What my bill says, House Bill 433, which is still in the House, basically says retailers are allowed to publicly advertise, again, coupons, loyalty programs, discounts. There was some strong pushback on the below cost, so we took out language that specifically says below cost, but would still allow public advertising of coupons, rebates, discounts, loyalty programs, et cetera.
What's the complaint? Why can I sell my soda for less than what I purchased as a loss leader, but I can't do that for alcohol?
Well, it kind of goes all the way back to the Prohibition. When Prohibition ended, all this the federal government basically turned over control of the sale of alcohol to each individual state. And back in the day, they said, this is good public policy. And so that's the way that they set it up. I would disagree with that. I think it kind of leads to some absurd results that because I don't know what the true price of a bottle of alcohol is, I actually have to physically go into the store and see what the price is, where it makes it even that much easier for me to purchase that below cost bottle of alcohol.
Right. Well, you're also putting it's a competitive disadvantage if one big box retailer can buy in bulk and buy that bottle cheaper than I can as a one-man band. They can advertise it cheaper than I can, and so it's at a competitive disadvantage. You're putting the small guy in a very awkward position against the big guy.
Well, that's what they lead you to believe, but actually what the laws in the state of Missouri is distributors have to sell their alcohol to the same price to all retailers regardless of the quantity. No. You're not allowed quantity discounting here in the state of Missouri.
Interesting.
All right. What it really all comes down to is who has a better advertising program, who has better customer service, who can get their people in and not only attract customers, but retain customers.
Right. Robert Corneo is a Missouri House of Representative from St. Peters who wants to change this bill. Robert, why is this worth the effort? Why is this such a big deal? Why spend all this time, money, and effort on this? Aren't there more important things to fix in the state?
Absolutely, and I think the House has done a good job leading on some of the stuff that it's campaigned on, such as tort reform, ethics reform, labor reform, and so this is just kind of one of the next things that I believe is good public policy. That who can really argue with some transparency and advertising and consumers? I think it's good public policy for consumers to be able to know exactly how much something costs.
Yeah,
and ultimately, it saves people money.
Yeah, you say, sounds like there are quite a number of people who have a problem with it. Is it falling on Democratic liberal lines, rural versus city? What's the breakdown on the criticism for this bill?
It was really weird in committee. Both Republicans and Democrats voted for it, and Republicans and Democrats voted against it. I think it's really just along the lines of some of the other retail stores that have a foothold already here in the state of Missouri, who have a decent foothold in some of these state reps districts, kind of got a hold of their ear and talked about how it would affect their individual district, and were able to convince them to vote either for it or against it. So I think it just kind of came down to more personal relationships with some of his reps. Just
so I understand it, so the new bill, you want to allow bars, restaurants, convenience stores, liquor stores, anyone who sells alcohol to be able to advertise the price of their products.
Correct.
And you want to be able to have them have loyalty programs and coupons and things like that.
Correct. They already have those loyalty programs and things like that. It's just I want them to be able to publicly advertise them.
Advertise it.
Yep, and it goes back to right now. Currently, there's an Eighth Circuit case that's been going on for about 4 or 5 years now, where the Broadcasters Association and the Press Association actually brought the lawsuit, saying this is a violation of our First Amendment rights to be able to advertise this stuff.
So let me get this straight. This is breaking news. A Republican is in agreement with something the media wants to do?
Absolutely.
Wow. All right. Boy.
I said this really doesn't fall along party lines.
Breaking
more
news.
Philosophical.
Breaking news all over the place. If I own a bar or a convenience store and I want to advertise my beer, can I go on Twitter and say, hey, I've got a 6-pack of Busch for $4 and everything else? Am I breaking the law by going on social media and promoting that?
No, and that kind of gets into kind of the rules and regulations as far as what actually publicizing advertising means, and whether it's media, like an established media outlet that distributes newspapers,
right,
or radio programs, things like that. Under the current rules and regulations, obviously government doesn't keep up with technology. It has not encompassed Twitter yet.
Right, but I mean, you're putting traditional news outlets that spends money on news gathering and hosts and jobs at a competitive disadvantage to those social media, which doesn't add anything to the economy locally, at a competitive disadvantage. So I can see how the newspapers and radio and TV stations are against this as well.
Well, they support the bill. They're against the current law.
Yeah, right. Yeah, thank you. Robert, give it to me 1 to 10. What are the odds of this thing passing both chambers and being signed by Governor Greitens?
Well, I think philosophically we'll definitely be able to get the votes. It's just, our Senate seems to be in a little bit of a gridlock right now, and I'm just hoping that just in general, the Senate is kind of in a little bit of a slow pattern of being able to pass some bills. So I'm just hoping that in the coming weeks, coming back from legislative spring break, we'll be able to kind of break that gridlock over in the Senate and get it passed.
Robert Corneo is in St. Peters, Missouri House of Representatives, District 64. Robert, thanks for checking in. Have a good day.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
You got it. 9:20 here.